Hello future doctors. Welcome back to Conquer Pathology with Dr. P. I hope you are all caffeinated and ready because today we are talking about the plumbing of the human body, diseases of blood vessels. Why is this so crucial? Let's do some horizontal integration right away. If you want to understand the cardiology ward, you must understand blood vessels. If you want to comprehend strokes in neurology or renal failure in nephrology, you must understand blood vessels. The pipes fail, the city shuts down. We are going to cover everything from the microscopic brick and mortar of the vessel wall to the epic civil war of atherosclerosis, the ballooning disasters of aneurysms, and the great mimickers, vasculitis. And let's get started. Let's lay the absolute foundation for understanding vascular disease. Look at our title slide. We are discussing vascular architecture and the mechanics of endothelial injury. In this lecture, we are going to journey all the way from normal histology right down to the universal pathological reaction. Let's move to the next slide and start with some vertical integration with your anatomy and histology. Every major blood vessel is built on what I call the trinity of layers. As you can see on the screen, working from the inside out, we have the tunica intima, which is the inner sanctum. Next is the tunica media, serving as the muscle layer. And finally, the tunica adventitia, which is the outer envelope. And make sure you note this point right at the bottom. Arteries possess a uniquely thick media compared to veins. Let's zoom in on that very first layer. On this slide, you'll see that the tunica intima acts as the body's Teflon coating. It is incredibly thin, made up of just endothelial cells, sitting on a basement membrane. Its main job, as is stated right here, is what keeps us alive. It keeps blood flowing smoothly without clotting. Moving on to the next slide, we hit the middle layer. The tunica media is the engine room regulating blood pressure. What is it made of? As you can see, it contains smooth muscle cells and elastin. Because of these components, it contracts and relaxes to control vascular tone and pressure. Next up is the outer envelope. Look closely at this slide. The tunica adventitia requires its own blood supply. It's made up of loose connective tissue and nerve fibers, and importantly, the vasa vasorum, which are tiny arterioles and venules. Like the slide says, the vasa vasorum is just vessels doing vessel things for other vessels. Now look at the bottom of the slide for our major USMLE NEET-PG callout. Listen closely to this. Large arteries like the aorta are too thick for oxygen to diffuse from the lumen. So what do? They rely on the vasa vasorum, the vessels of the vessels. Why is this highly tested? Because it is a crucial player in syphilitic aneurysms. Now let's shift our focus entirely back to the inner lining on this next slide. Endothelial cells are highly active metabolic factories. We need to bust the passive lining myth. They are not just plastic tubes, they are an active metabolic factory. In fact, as it says right here, the endothelial cell is the central controller of vascular health and disease. Let's look at what happens when these cells are healthy. On this slide, we outline the basal state, ECs acting as the good guys. They do three vital things for us. First, vasodilation. They produce nitric oxide and prostacyclin to keep vessels relaxed. Second, they are an anticoagulant, expressing heparin-like molecules to prevent clotting. And third, fibrinolysis. They secrete tissue plasminogen activator to break up any formed clots. But what happens when things go wrong? Read this slide. Multiple stressors trigger endothelial dysfunction. What exactly are these stressors? As listed here, we have turbulent blood flow, which usually happens at branching points. We have cytokines, which come from smoking or inflammation. Then there is hypertension, which causes a constant physical pounding against the wall. And we also have bacterial toxins and lipid products like your bad cholesterol. When those stressors hit, we move to this next slide. Dysfunctional ECs become the bad guys. They flip their behavior 180 degrees. Instead of relaxing the vessel, they cause vasoconstriction because they produce endothelin. Instead of a smooth surface, they promote leukocyte adhesion by expressing adhesion molecules like VCAM1, acting just like Velcro. And finally, they create a procoagulant state that promotes local blood clotting. This brings us to a massive fundamental concept. Look at the slide for a major pathology cheat code. Vessels react instead of regenerating. Ask yourself, how does a vessel heal? As it says right here, it doesn't regenerate like the liver. It reacts. And this stereotyped response has a specific name. It is called intimal thickening or neo-intimal hyperplasia. Let's break down exactly how this happens. On this flowchart slide, you can follow the sequential mechanism of intimal thickening as it progresses over time. Step 1 is endothelial injury, which triggers the release of growth factors like PDGF. This leads directly to SMC migration, where smooth muscle cells cross the internal elastic lamina from the media into the intima. Then comes SMC proliferation, meaning they undergo multiplication inside the inner layer, and the final step is ECM deposition, where these cells pump out extracellular matrix and collagen. Now I need you to focus intensely on this next slide. This is a high yield shift. Smooth muscle cells change phenotypes. The original medial SMCs are contractile, their job is to squeeze, but the new intimal SMCs are synthetic. Their job is to pump out collagen and matrix. Please burn this NEET-PG USMLE fact at the bottom into your memory. New SMCs in the intima are not the same as those in the media. And to wrap up this critical foundation, let's look at the final slide. Intimal thickening permanently alters vascular health. Look at the bullet points. The thickened intima is a permanent structural change. It restricts blood flow by narrowing the lumen. And most importantly, for the rest of this chapter, it serves as the foundational starting point for atherosclerosis. Master this reaction and the rest of vascular pathology will make perfect sense.